Assalamu alaikum and good evening. My name is P Singh and I am a fascinated human being. Let me ask you a question. What fascinates you the most in this world? Everybody's answer is different, right? Well, let me tell you about mine. I am fascinated by this entire universe. In this vast and beautiful universe, we human beings are the most informed species. But as Socrates said, let us agree, we know that we know, and we don't know that we don't know. And before I take you further with my thoughts, another question for you. How would you feel, or how would you agree, to what level, if somebody tells you that you are a psychic? Would anybody agree? That is very normal. But we know the terms like paranormal. Paranormal is beyond normal. Parallel to the normal, but it's not normal. Parapsychological, that is beyond the mind, beyond the psyche. And all these activities that cannot be explained by the established theories or within the boundaries of the established knowledge are called psychic activities. We all have 5 senses that we know very well and we use them. They are sight, smell, taste, hearing and touch. But do you know we have other senses as well that are the extrasensory perceptions? Things like telepathy, the deja vu, clairvoyance, pre-recognition. We experience all this. We definitely experience all this. But we don't know much about them. And hence we cannot use them. Telepathy, as you might have experienced or known, that you think about somebody and you get a call or he remembers you or you come across them. Clairvoyance is getting knowledge paranormally. Telepathy, let me tell you again, it is paranormal communication without words, without gestures, and without physical boundaries. No limits. And there is pre-recognition, that is like knowing the future. All these senses and activities, along with the psychic activities, are put under one simple word, and that is conveniently called a psi. The psi is your extra sensory self. That is your higher self. Now, why are we talking about this? All of you have experience about deja vu or telepathy. You have come across? Am I right? Deja vu is like we go to a place for the first time in our knowledge, but we think, I think I've seen this. I've been here. But what's that feeling? We don't understand. How does that happen? We don't know. Telepathy, you called a friend. You just thought of a friend and he called you. And you tell him, I was thinking about you, That is telepathy. That's it. That's all we know about telepathy, right? But now, with the advancement of things, we understand these things very well. And let me tell you a classic example of pre-recognition that became world famous. And it was documented, and there was movie made based on that story, based on that happening. It is about the famous Melbourne Cup. Melbourne Cup is a horse race cup back in early 70s. The owner of one of the horses had a dream about the race which was going to happen after 2 weeks. That his horse was winning, and the jockey was wearing a black armband. His horse was winning, and the jockey was wearing a black armband. He got curious. Okay, winning is fine. I wish that he wins, that my horse wins. But what is that thing? He told many people about it, so many people knew about it. And what actually happened after 2 weeks? His horse won the race with the jockey. And in fact, that jockey was wearing a black armband, which is not common. So what do you think it was? Was it a dream come true? Well, it was not, because the dreamer was no more. And that black armband was for the owner who passed away during the 2 weeks. Well, you may say that it may not be in our limits, or it doesn't happen very often. That is true. But the fact is, all of us are born with these abilities. These all abilities are very powerful in young children. And as we grow, our logic grows, and we start thinking logically and world-wise, and we don't depend on these abilities anymore. But you still have a cousin or a friend who picks the lottery, and he generally wins. So we call him a lucky guy. There is a friend who can solve your problems very easily. So all these things, how does it happen? Fine. In practical terms today, you have institutes and agencies that train young children to capitalize, to capture these abilities and use them. Have you seen on the TV the show where a child is reading a book blindfolded? Have you come across that? There is blindfolded child who can read a book, who can tell colors. In fact, there are 11 countries where a chain of institutes runs these kind of courses, and this is developed. Okay, but why should we do that? And why we were not doing till now? To tell you the fact, till now what was happening was that we saw all these activities as something that is negative. That is in crime movies, or ghost movies, or some novels with some weird stories. So we took a negative image of that, and we did not get involved with this. Whereas there are positive sides of such abilities, because it is inbuilt. When you develop such abilities, you have a better understanding of yourself, of people around you. You are more aware of yourself and people. You can connect very well with people. You have a better understanding. You become more creative. You can develop creativity, and it broadens your horizon of thinking. And if you have a question, how can we do this? How do we develop this? It's simple. As good as meditation and Tai Chi or yoga techniques that you learn, there are techniques that can be learned for this. First of all, you have to agree that I want to do it and believe that it is happening, it is possible. Secondly, we have worries, we have tensions, we have mental noises, we have thoughts. But we have to learn to separate intuition from these kind of thoughts, and that can be done by some exercises. Once you are used to these exercises, you can practice, and you know how to tap into that energy. And when you do that, you develop these abilities. Once you develop them, you use it for yourself. And then it becomes like your smell, taste, touch, and hearing, and you may use it for your good and good of others. So here's one positive thought. This whole universe is very fascinating. Go for it, and you will find whatever you have never thought of, because there is a universe outside you, and the universe is inside you as well. Back to you. Thank you.